Hey pals, my name's Marjorie Lindsey, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. And today I'm here to lead a virtual songwriting workshop. We will specifically talk about the processes that have helped me in songwriting. A little bit about me. I've been writing songs for as long as I can remember and knew I wanted to pursue singing and songwriting since elementary school. I was involved in choir during my entire primary and secondary education, participating in voice lessons, auditions, pop glee club choirs, and I even sang a little bit in choir in college. I graduated from the University of North Texas with a degree in English and creative writing and have honed and evolved my songwriting for the last 15 years. In 2014, my now husband began accompanying me on guitar and helping me with my songwriting, bringing the songs to life, which led to performing at various open mics and shows all around the DFW area. In 2017, I was scouted by Austin-based record label Invango Productions on my social media platforms, which led to a contract for a 5-song album. And we completed my album in fall of 2018. In March of 2019, my album was released. It's titled Breakthrough, and you can find it on most streaming services such as Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, and Tidal, just to name a few. Over the last year, I've been working towards my next album, which leads us to our topic of discussion for today, songwriting. Let's rock! Alright, the first thing I need you to do is get out a piece of paper and a pen or pencil or something to write with, and I want you to write down 5 things you are grateful for right now in this moment today. So what does it mean to be grateful? Remember that it means to be thankful, to really appreciate something, to love something, really glad that it exists, don't know what you would do without. 5 things that you're grateful for. Let's take about 1 minute and write down 5 things that you are grateful for right now. It could be anything from music to your parents, food, technology, friends, sports, games, things you like to read, dogs, summer vacation, cats, swimming outside, air conditioning, pizza, ice cream, driving with the windows down, warm hugs, going to concerts, riding a roller coaster, getting new shoes, your cell phone, when somebody tells you a good joke, getting your driver's license, the first day of school, maybe, showers, rock camp. I'm grateful for my best friends, for being alive, for the house I live in, for food, for running water. And time. If you didn't get 5 right now, it's okay. You have time, you can pause the video and always give yourself an extra minute to write down more. And if you had more than 5, that's awesome. That's okay too. All right, now with your list of 5, I want you to put stars next to 2 of them, okay? Your top 2, let's put stars next to them. And then I want you to set a timer for 2 minutes. During the 2 minutes, I want you to free write about one of the items that you starred. So if you starred next to grandma, tell me about your grandma. Write anything and everything that comes to your mind. And it doesn't have to be in a complete sentence. It doesn't have to make perfect sense. It could just be a stream of thoughts, but I want you to write down everything you can about your grandma or whatever your topic is that you starred. 2 minutes on the clock. Okay, now that you've written about your first topic, set the timer again for another 2 minutes and write about the second. So say your second topic is about tacos. I want you to write anything and everything about tacos, besides the fact that they are amazing, delicious. You could eat them on every day of the week, including Taco Tuesday and Fiesta Friday. Just write as much as you can. All right, now that you've written about both topics, I want you to look at what you've written, and I want you to circle the one that you can maybe add more detail to with descriptive imagery or vivid details, maybe even sensory details. Do you know what your sensory details are? They are any details that appeal to your 5 senses. So what are those? Seeing, hearing, touching, taste, smell. How many of you have learned about metaphors or similes in your English classes? What's a metaphor? A metaphor is a comparison not using like or as. So what's a simile? A simile is a comparison using like or as. For instance, my dog is a potato. Is that a metaphor or a simile? Right, it's a metaphor because I'm saying my dog is a potato. I'm not saying she is like a potato or as sweet as a potato. She is a potato. So if I was using a simile, I would say, my dog is as round as a potato. So that's a simile using like or as. Other types of figurative language you can use in your songwriting is repetition. So to repeat. A lot of the time in songs, you hear the chorus repeat throughout the song. Another type of figurative language you can use is rhyme or rhyme scheme to help your song flow throughout. For an example, let's do Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. So words that rhyme together, but also that fit in with the message or story of your song. Which leads us to our next point. Are you trying to tell a story or send a message? Have you ever heard your teachers say, write what you know? It is so true. It will help you in all facets of your life. Write down what you know. For a story, for an essay, for a letter for a friend, for a letter to a local representative to change the world, anything. Write what you know. The next thing we want to do is establish what kind of emotion we want to convey or bring out within our song. What kind of emotion do you feel that you want to channel into the lyrics of your song? So since we're writing what we know, what are you feeling and how can you write that down? How can you put that into words? If it's a song about, let's say, a breakup that you're not very happy about, what kind of emotion do you think you will put into that song? Maybe sadness, maybe pain, maybe confusion, not understanding, maybe anger. Or if it's a song about graduating, you'll probably put more emotions like happiness and exhilaration and excitement into that because you're starting a new journey. So along with our emotions that we've now established, and whether or not you are telling a story or trying to get a message across, use those two things along with your figurative language and your details to expand on one of the 2 topics that we wrote about earlier. How can you add on to the details there? How can you add in some figurative language, some imagery, some sensory details, metaphors, similes, or how can you add in repetition? How many times can you repeat that idea, or does it become your chorus? And then the rhyme scheme. What kind of rhyme scheme do you want to establish? There's several forms of rhyme scheme, and you don't always have to rhyme exactly. Sometimes you can have what's called a slant rhyme. Goodbye and good night sound similar because of that long I sound. So you could rhyme those words even though they don't sound exactly the same. A few tips I want you to remember. The main one is there is no right or wrong way to write a song. Only you can determine how you want it to sound and what you want others to hear. And even then, everybody listens to music differently. No person is going to hear the exact same thing that you do, and that's okay. Something that really helps me when I'm writing songs is to keep a journal nearby, and I will just write down my thoughts. Sometimes it doesn't make any sense. Sometimes it's just a bunch of gibberish, just a bunch of words that come out. Sometimes it's more structured. I'm able to write a stanza at a time. And a stanza is kind of like a paragraph, but for your first verse. So your first verse would be a stanza. And I will write out maybe some thoughts that I'm having about the world or something I'm experiencing. And then I'll kind of walk away from it for a little bit or maybe even a couple days. But then I can always come back to what I started. And maybe like I will have thought of a melody or a hook that kind of goes along with whatever I'm trying to say, and I'll write that down. A lot of the time, I record myself into my phone so that I can remember to go back and write it down later if I don't have my pen or paper with me or if I'm in a different place. And that has helped me a lot with curating a melody. Do not be afraid to ask others for help. Either you're in your family, your friends, through social networks, through school. Know what your strengths are. My strength lies in lyric writing and melody creation. I can play a few chords on guitar. I am not strong enough to perform playing guitar. And I'm so blessed and lucky to have several musicians in my life, especially my husband, and he has helped me bring all of my songs to life on guitar, as well as my father, who is also a talented musician. He helped me with song creation as well. If there's a specific songwriter that you really admire, I suggest that you reach out to them, either on social media or a handwritten letter, or if you get to meet them in person, great. Pick their brain if you can. Also, I suggest studying their songs. Listen to their catalog of songs. Maybe research what songs they've been involved in, what they've helped write. Maybe you can hear a pattern or hear what kind of themes they enjoy writing about and what their strengths are. Research to find out where you can perform your songs, either at open mics or group forums where you can share songs with like-minded people who are there to support you and help you, like the Dallas Songwriters Association, definitely Girls Rock Dallas, obviously, and other groups around the Metroplex and within your own local communities at your school, your rec center. Look at bulletin boards, do whatever you can to find out where you can go and find these people and have them just listen to your songs and maybe listen to their feedback or get some stage presence practice when performing. Sometimes when performing, the message of the song can either really be strong or get lost depending on your level of energy or your enunciation. So sometimes the overall message of your song needs to be reinforced by performing. And then my last tip is to be your own advocate. That means standing up for yourself. We have so many resources available at our fingertips now with our devices and our smartphones. And if you can't access the internet, a local library also has access to the internet, as well as a plethora of books that you can look into on songwriting, some of your favorite artists, just a whole bunch of information you can look at. So being your own advocate, standing up for yourself, knowing what your strengths are, knowing what you want to say in your music and how you want it to be said, and educating yourself. With the resources that we have, we can also stay up to date in what's current, what people are listening for. All right, friends, that concludes our songwriting workshop for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I'm Marjorie Lindsey, and I hope that you took away some sort of valuable information and are able to apply it to your own songwriting. I wish you all the best in your process.